So I'm here with
Perry.
Nice to meet you, Perry. Whereabouts are you originally from?
From Ottawa, Ontario originally. I moved out here in 1979.
Okay,
I'm 60 years old.
So
Moved out here when I was 18.
how was your upbringing? Like, how was your childhood?
I come from an abused father, who physically abused me, threw me in my room for 3 days at a time. My mother had to put long sleeve shirts on me to go to school with and do up the buttons because I had welts all over my body all the time, and my dad beat me. And when I turned 14, I went to a training school where I was abused as well, physically by priests and that, and who tried to sexually abuse me. But I fought them off. I kicked the guy in the chest, gave him a heart attack. He had a ticker, and I kicked him in the chest, and he ended up in the hospital. So I got sent to a maximum security, a juvenile delinquent hall, and I got out when I was 18. When I was 18, I jumped on the plane. I came out west, and I came to New Westminster. I was living in New Westminster. I worked for a period of time as an installer, stayed away from drugs, from hard drugs. I'd never done hard drugs before at the time, but I was a criminal since I was 14 years old because of being abused and that. And I started smoking weed when I was 14, drinking, but I never did no hard drugs or nothing. When I came out here, well, I was introduced to the world of hard drugs, and back in the 80s and 90s, drugs were no joke. Like it's not like now. Like fentanyl and cut coke. You don't know what the coke's made out of. The side has so many chemicals in it. Like back then, it was pure speed. It was healthy. You know, like you do purple haze speed, half gram, and you're zinging for like 2 days, like just right high. And
How's it now?
how is it now? It's like it's made out of all kinds of chemicals, and it makes your face break out. It makes you see people like picking at themselves and that and stuff because they're seeing bugs come out of their skin. They're hallucinating. And I stayed out of trouble for a while when I was 18 till I was 20, and then I stopped working and I couldn't find work, and I started recommitting crimes. I went in and out of jail till now. I'm 60 years old now, and I'm trying to change my life. I learned how to tattoo inside. I spent many years drawing and tattooing, and right now I'm just trying to work by word of mouth and work my way up into working in a shop. I've been out 7 months. I've never done that before in my life.
What drug of choice?
My drug of choice when I was younger was cocaine, and now it's side amphetamines.
What is that for people that don't?
It's just for people with ADD that aren't medicated. Like they just want to, they feel good when they do it because it makes them think straight. They're alive. They're like feel like they're have a grip on what's going on around them, and they have the world by the tail, right? So, but it's not like that. You end up staying up for days at a time. And before I went to jail, I robbed banks. I got found guilty on 3 banks. I got 8 years. Did a year's dead time. They wanted 9 years, so the year counted as a year, day for day, and then I got 8 years, and I get 7 years, six and a half years altogether. Well, 7 years because I did a year's dead time and 6 years in my sentence. Now I have 2 years, less than 2 years left of parole, and I'm just trying to stay in the straight and narrow.
What's it like robbing a bank?
It's a rush because you don't know if you're going to get shot or what. It's pretty dangerous. The cops, I always used weapons like guns and stuff, and you never know when you got a cop has an itchy finger that just wants to shoot someone for the heck of it, because it happens all the time. People get shot all the time, and especially if you have a weapon. You just be running out of the bank, they'll fill you full of holes. In Vancouver, the cops do it when they know someone's robbing a bank, if someone gives information that a certain bank's going to be robbed, the cops will be waiting for you, and they'll just riddle the guys full of bullets, just like Bonnie and Clyde. Yeah, it's happened a lot of times.
Wow.
The cops are very abusive. While I was in, the guards were very abusive with me. I was in the max. I ended up in the max because I got in a lot of fights. I was like 53 years old when I started my sentence. I'm 60 now. Did a bunch of time in the max. I was in the street in my life for 6 years. I worked out 3 hours a day. And I did my art and my tattooing every day for 6 years. But last year I stopped working out and I started eating. I was depressed because my dad died.
What's it like on East Hastings for people that aren't familiar with it?
Well, they're doing too much fentanyl and ODing, and a lot of times they can't revive them. So a lot of people that have been on drugs for a while, they just want that rush of a lifetime, and they do a little too much, and the Narcan doesn't bring them back, and they die. People die every day down here. I live in the halfway house down the street here, right in the middle of Drug Central, and I met this girl today, and we've been hitting it off, and we're good friends, and I'm just taking one day at a time and staying away from alcohol, drugs, and just 24 hours at a time.
Nice.
I'll never break the law again. I'm done with that. I've been tattooing since I got out. I'm doing not too bad. I always had money.
So what do you think could be done to help people on East Hastings?
Okay, lots of people that were kids when I was years ago, they were like 14, 15. They ended up on the street. I helped them out. I took them in. I fed them. They're older now, and they see me on the street, and I get hugs, and tears come out of their eyes that I took care of them and that I treated them better than their own dad did. And that's the good I did when I was younger. And now, every time I see someone begging, I try to give them change. I try to give them change as long as I have it. Whenever I have like a pocket full of change, which is pretty often because I do tattoos almost every day, I always give like a handful of change. That's my way of giving back to the homeless and the unfortunate.
So what do you think about the police trying to take away the tents?
Well, rent is going. The rent is going so high. You don't just have drug addicts down here. You have people that have worked all their lives and paid rent, where the rents went up, and they just don't make enough money. And they lost their place. They lost everything they owned, and they're down here. And then all there is drugs down here, so they end up using. And they give up. They give up because they worked all their life, and now the rent's so high downtown. They get a place downtown that people just can't pay the rent. Make the rent.
Really?
And
yeah?
food is getting so expensive. And
so what do you think?
Those are the statistics anyways. I've done the research. So.
Is there anything you think that can be done to help?
As far as the homeless, yes. Give them, I don't say build them an apartment building because they'll destroy it within a week. Give them a park where they can live in their tents. If something bad happens, the police can go in and deal with it. Give them somewhere where they can lay their head. Supply them with sleeping bags in the winter and warm clothing, and make sure they have food every day. That's all you can do, because a lot of these people were abused when they were kids. They don't use drugs because they want to. It's because of what they went through when they're younger. It's an escape that they're seeking.
And if anyone out there was to help you, how could they do that? Or what would you want?
Right now, I'm helping myself. I do programs every week. I do treatment. I'm in a drug treatment facility, and I'm just doing one day at a time, and learning as much as I can every day, and getting to know the staff really good, and enjoying my freedom. I live in a room. I share a room with another guy, I have a big screen TV. I have smart TV. I have Netflix, everything, all the works. I have a nice cell phone. I live not too bad, you know. So every once in a while I get tempted to use. I stay away, and I try to stay away, but once in a while I relapse. But right now I'm on my last chance. If I relapse once more, I go back for a while.
And what's some of the craziest stuff that you've seen on East Ace?
Well, one time my very best friend, he hadn't slept for 4 days back in 1994. He was yelling up to my room, Perry, come out. With another guy Ronnie, who I just seen downtown today after not seeing him for over 20 years. And he was with Ronnie, and he's yelling for me to come out. He couldn't even stand up. He was feeling violent because he wanted cocaine. I know he had an addiction, and he wanted to go to this Chinese guy's place to do a robbery, and I knew it wouldn't go well because the Chinese don't give up their drugs easy, and he ended up putting a bullet through the guy, and he got found guilty on manslaughter and got 10 years. If I would have went with him, I would have got 10 years or more, who knows what. But I knew enough. I had a gut feeling, and I knew from how he was, and I knew not to go with him because I've seen how he is all my life. I hung out with him since I was 14, and I knew not to go that day. Then I went back east for a period of time, and I've been back since 2011. I found my son after not knowing where he was for 20 years, and he put an ad in the newspaper looking for his birth parents, and I've reunited with him. I have 2 grandchildren, and I just want to live a nice quiet life till I pass, get old and pass.
Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.